Yo, 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 welcome to the very first official edition of Donardo's Dugout live with North Shore 9. I am your host, Anthony Donardo. So I guess let me start the show off by talking a little bit of what we're going to do here. I did this last week, and unfortunately, I was on mute the entire time, except for like the last 3 minutes, as you saw as a preview on Instagram Live. So yeah, I apologize about that. So since last week didn't really technically happen, I guess this is the first official week of Donardo's Dugout. So as mentioned, what's really going on is you are going to see more shows with North Shore 9. So as many of you know, we brought on Jim Rosati, who was with the Northside Notch, and he now is with Donardo's Dugout. He's been on NS9 Live every Thursday. He's been on a few podcasts, and then he and I will be doing another show. All right, Donardo's Dugout is going to be every Tuesday. On Wednesday, Jim and I are going to be on a show called Starbucks, which will debut tomorrow as well. So as mentioned on Donardo's Dugout, this show is going to be just myself. It's going to be Pirates-based, of course, but I think on a broader scope, we're going to talk about more about MLB things. Not so much this week, I will say. But of course, once the season starts up, probably talking a lot of like the NL Central, I guess AL Central a bit, and just stuff going around baseball. So with that being said, let's kick the show off. We're probably going to keep it around 30 minutes every single day. But what I want to do is let's go ahead and start off our first segment called Let's Take a Look Across MLB. So, what's going on around baseball? Well, something I want to bring up today. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. The Reds releasing Derek Dietrich. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, and I don't really care. But Derek Dietrich was actually a person I thought the Pirates could use last year. Had a lot of interest in him coming over. I believe Ryan agreed the same thing. He was with the Marlins. The Marlins let him go. The Marlins were more or less looking into a whole new, revamping of the organization. So he was older. There's no reason to have him. They let him go. The Reds picked him up on a minor league deal. The Reds picked him up on another minor league deal this year, and they granted his release, and he's gone. Now, I know there's a lot of people around Pittsburgh that have a lot of hatred for Derek Dietrich, which I fully understand, like, to a degree. Obviously there's some bad blood between the Pirates and Reds, and most of it stemmed from him. But something I want to keep in mind, there's a lot of people go around saying, oh, he's a douchebag, he's terrible, this and that. Derek Dietrich has never had like any issues anywhere else on any other team, any other, player. With that said, like, this is the classic, because he wasn't on your team, you hate him. People in Cincinnati love him because of what he did. And if he was a Pirate, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to love Derek Dietrich the way they loved AJ Burnett in that sense. Now, obviously not the same type of player, not longevity, but you get what I'm saying, right? When AJ Burnett tells someone to sit the F down, they love him, embrace him. Derek Dietrich does it to your team, you hate him. So I don't really foresee like a Derek Dietrich signing of Pittsburgh anytime soon because of the bad blood there. But I want to get something across. I don't think he's a terrible player. I don't think he's a douchebag. And with that said, he actually is a pretty productive player. I think a lot of people are forgetting just how good he was and is. Now, he's not some superstar, but what I'm going to do is kind of do some like little comparison here. Everyone loved Yasiel Puig. Everyone wants Yasiel Puig to come over to Pittsburgh, which is kind of fine, ironic. Maybe not everyone, but a good portion. I find kind of ironic because it's the same situation. Yasiel Puig was also involved in that fight. There's a lot of bad blood between Puig and the players. So why are we bringing in Puig, but not Derek Dietrich? What I want to do is show you a few things here. So what we're doing right now is we're looking at our boy Yasiel Puig's numbers. All right? Yasiel Puig since 2016, 2019. All right, 3 years. He's batted .265. He's gotten on base at .332. Slugged .466. Now, here's the thing. Take all these overall numbers, right? Basically, in 3 years, he's got a 110 weighted run created plus and a .338 WOBA. Pretty decent. I mean, he's above average. I could see why, obviously, people want him on the Pirates team, right? He's a productive offensive player. He's not great. He's not what he was in the first few years in the Dodgers, but he's still a very decent offensive player. Has some pop. What's Derek Dietrich? Same time, all right, since 2016. Derek Dietrich in just about 250 less plate appearances, though. Derek Dietrich, 251, 341, slugging 429. Once again, the overall numbers, right? Look at his production, 108 WRC plus, 332 WOBA. Derek Dietrich is literally just a shy bit. I mean, he's not Yasiel Puig, but he isn't that far away from Yasiel Puig as far as offensive production. And I think you get with Derek Dietrich, not well, but this guy plays pretty much everywhere across the diamond. He plays left field, third, second, first. You know, he dabbled in shortstop a little bit. So he's got the universal look to him where, you know, he can kind of slide him whenever you need, which the Pirates do like, and that's kind of what they're trying to do with Cole Tucker right now, it seems. He also provides the offense, right? 8% above league average in his 3 years. Something to take a look at, too. When you look at last year alone, all right? Now, for the most part of his career, he played at Marlins Park. Tough place to hit at. When you look at last year, the guy had 19 home runs in Cincinnati, which is very easy to hit at, right? You can have a lot of power there. But think about it. 19 home runs and 306 plate appearances. This guy is basically like he had a 40 home run campaign last year over a full season. What is there really to hate on Derek Dietrich? I don't get that. I don't get the hate opposed to what happened on the field amongst the players. As far as the play itself, why is there so much hatred towards Derek Dietrich? So obviously, as mentioned, I don't really foresee a signing with the Pirates because of some of the bad blood. I think in reality, that all could be swept under the rug. Jim, thanks for joining the stream. You hate his face? Well, who cares? I mean, think about this. Look at that swag. Who's going to hate a person with that much swag? Look at him. I don't care if you hate his face. He's covering up with the eye black. You don't need to see his face. Look at that swag. You're going to have a guy like him coming over to the Pirates? Are you really going to hate that? I think it's foolish. I think the hatred for Derek Dietrich is kind of foolish. But I digress. It's not going to happen. But as mentioned, I just want to say he's not a terrible player. I mean, again, a 1.1 WAR, 306 plate appearances. I mean, that equates out, if he played a full season, he's never had terrible numbers. You know, he's an everyday starter. He could be a good utility person. So I don't get the hate for Derek Dietrich. That's my Derek Dietrich talk. Let's move on. So next up, let's go ahead and talk about the stat of the day. All right. So the stat of the day. This gets pretty interesting. Jim says his grandpa wouldn't approve. The stat of the day, I want to talk about something here. Now, the Pirates, well, actually all of MLB, is going to play 60 games this season, right? And we've kind of harped on this. I get it. You know, it's a sprint, not a marathon. Anything can happen. Although if you've watched the past 2 games against the Indians, I think it's clear that the Pirates not making the playoffs is not going to happen. But technically speaking, anything can happen. I want to point out, and here's what this stat is going to be about. How terrible, okay, actually the Pirates were last year. And this is why I believe they can be better. All right, they're not going to be as bad, even on paper. The stat of the day I'm going to give you. Last year, in the first 60 games, all right, of the season, all right, if you want to look at the last year's season, 60 games, how it translates to this year, that was going to be the season. Last year, Josh Bell had a 2.3 WAR in 60 games. Now, mind you, he was on a crazy pace, okay, so I get that. But Josh Bell himself had a 2.3 WAR. In those 60 games, he had 18 home runs, right? Just killing the ball. He's batting .343 on base at .405, 178 weighted run created plus. Now, I don't foresee that happening this year. Okay, I mean, that pace is just ridiculous. So I can't say he's going to have that pace again this year. Probably not as well. But here's the thing. Josh Bell had a 2.3 WAR. When you look at the Pirates' offense in total for those first 60 games, the Pirates' offense collectively in total had a 1.9 WAR. The Pirates literally brought down Josh Bell in total. Bell produced 2.3 WAR, and the Pirates said no. As a total, they brought it down to a 1.9. Think about that. One player alone had more WAR than the entire team, with his stats included. How terrible is that, you might ask? Well, think about this. After Josh Bell, I bring up my stats. After Josh Bell, the leader was Brian Newman with a 1.1 WAR, who batted .345 and 4.2 on base, right? He got caught up later into the season, but still added 127 plate appearances in 36 games of those 60, okay? Then Kevin Newman was number 3. Then Starling Marte, who got knocked out by Eric Gonzalez, right at a .4 WAR. Think about the players on that team at that point. Jung Ho Gung had 100 plate appearances, negative .8 WAR. Pablo Reyes was on the team, if you remember, right? He brought negative -5 WAR. Jake Elmore was on the team at negative 5.5 WAR. Cole Tucker was terrible. I'm not saying he's going to be good this year, if you watched last night as well. But, I mean, Tucker, you had Elias Diaz, Francisco Cervelli, Jason Martin, Eric Gonzalez, Polanco, Shuck, like all these guys just bringing down the team. For the most part, these guys aren't here right now. You're going to have a full, time with Brian Reynolds, Kevin Newman there. The offense to me is going to be a lot better than last year just because of this alone. Okay. It's mind-boggling how the Pirates as a total brought down Josh Bell himself. That kills me. So with the full year of Kevin Newman, full year of Brian Reynolds, Adam Frazier, hopefully in the mix, being productive, good defensively. No Jung Ho, no Pablo, no Jake Elmore. Hopefully not as much Cole Tucker. He's not going to be needed as much with his 108 plate appearances. I do believe the offense can be better. Hopefully they can add on to Josh's Bell production and not bring him down. So that's my stat of the day. Moving on here. Let's go ahead and every week what I'm going to do, and you might have noticed it past 2 weeks, I'm going to go ahead and put out a poll. The reason for the poll is kind of gauge you guys' opinions or guys' thoughts on things. So last night, let's go ahead and bring it up here.
7 long balls. Jones hammers it deep to right field. It is off the foul pole. Home run.
So the foul pole. All right. I brought up a poll last night. 2 nights ago, I should say. Cole Tucker, as we brought up, he has been taking reps in outfield. There's been a lot of, not maybe a whole lot, but, some back and forth about, if that's right, what I would do, this and that. Everyone put on their GM hats. So the poll I presented is, as Cole Tucker seems to be readying himself to play outfield, who would your choice be to get these reps? People I put out there was Cole Tucker, Kevin Newman, Adam Frazier, and Jose Ozuna. And as Jim mentioned here, he missed the poll last night. Good job, Jim. Corporate guy. Love it. I would love to hear your answer on this too as I'm talking about it. But yeah, so obviously with Cole Tucker getting the reps, I think a lot of the players that were involved that people will say that would rather see is Kevin Newman, Adam Frazier, and Jose Ozuna. So that's what I put out there. Now, just so you guys know, Adam Frazier was the winner at 30%. This actually was really, really close. No one really ran away with it like the poll I had last week that no one heard about because I was on mute. So Adam Frazier took 30% of the votes. The next up was Cole Tucker at 29%, then Kevin Newman at 20%, and Jose Ozuna at 21%, then Kevin Newman at last at 20%. I have a feeling I know what Jim's going to say, but I'll wait on it. But as we know, the Pirates are using Cole Tucker in the outfield. He did play last night in right field, and he actually played in center field and had a really good catch. And I guess the reason I say that was it was so bad, but he hustled so hard and ran so fast and dove like he was going to kill himself into the wall that he made it look so good. All right. I'm sure that wasn't, I didn't look at the StatCast numbers. I'm sure that was not efficient at all. It was probably a very bad route, which made it look good. But at any rate, it was pretty exciting to see. So what I'm going to get at is breaking down some numbers. Adam Frazier won the poll. Technically speaking, Adam Frazier would be the choice. He's played outfield already. Okay, he's played left field, he's played right field, and I do believe he actually played maybe an inning of center. As a matter of fact, he's played more than that. He's played 63 career innings at center. So what I want to say about Adam Frazier, as we've talked about in the North Shore 9, because you know we love him here, all right? Surprisingly enough, he was actually very productive in the outfield. In 585 innings in left field, positive 8 defensive runs saved. He's actually an asset as a left fielder. In center field, in those I mentioned few innings he had, positive 1, and then 230 innings in right field, negative 2 defensive runs saved. So with that said, he's been a productive outfielder. All right. He actually seems to be a very good infielder now. All right. He's a Gold Glove finalist at second base. So it seems to me like maybe he would be a good fit to go all over the diamond, like that Jay Hay role, right? Good defense in the infield, good defense in the outfield, play him around, have at it. But here's the thing. He's coming off a season, like I just mentioned, where he was a Gold Glove finalist, right? He's more, I guess, of this team. He's more of a veteran presence. So are you going to take this guy and move him off second base the first year he becomes a Gold Glove finalist and say move around the diamond, right? So there's that aspect to it. The other aspect is, what is the future of this club? Is Adam Frazier honestly going to be a Pirate next year? Love the guy. He can hit, David. But is he truly going to be a Pirate next year? And even if he is next year, is he going to last through the trade deadline or the offseason to 2022? I really, really doubt that. I think it's best to use Adam Frazier as that second baseman. The numbers are here. The numbers show he can play outfield. So that's part of his package. You don't need to put that on. You don't need to add that to his resume. You don't need to prove that to other teams, right? He can be a productive outfielder. Keep him at second base. Show he can be an excellent second baseman. Keep him there. Let him hit. Hope he does hit. And say, here's Adam Frazier. Get us all a package for him, right? He's not in your future plans, so why go ahead and do that anyways? So Kevin Newman next up as a person of interest, right? I think Kevin Newman makes a lot of sense, and as Jim says, I think he can make a lot of sense because what is the future of the middle infield? Now, he had terrible numbers at shortstop last year, right? Just god-awful defensively. I think he was like the 4 percentile as far as defense goes among MLB players. So just bad. That makes sense that he's probably going to move to second base, which of course is occupied by Adam Frazier. You know, if the move was put Adam Frazier in the outfield and around, you can put Kevin Newman in second and then slide Cole Tucker at short now or whatever, and there you go. I think the future for Kevin Newman is probably second base, if not, of course, shortstop. So moving Kevin Newman to the outfield kind of makes sense because, hey, let's go ahead and bring up his versatility. What's the future of the infield? Is it Cole Tucker and Adam Frazier? Is it Cole Tucker and Peguero? Is it we have a plethora of like infielders now, it seems. So is Kevin Newman really going to be in the middle infield? Why not go ahead and put him in outfield now? Why not put him out in center, left, right, whatever? Makes a lot of sense. But to me, I ask this as well. I think he is a future Pirate. This guy has a career in the MLB, as he proved last year, okay? The position of shortstop, I don't think is going to happen. But he has a career in MLB. The guys that we just talked about coming up, Gonzalez, Peguero, even Bay's on the cusp in a few years. Do we know that they're going to make the team? Do they know if they're going to be good? We do definitely hope so, right? They're on track to be, but they're still kind of far away. Kevin Newman's going to be a major leaguer. Cole Tucker, I think a lot of us are still very skeptic on. I mean, we know the guy can flat out play defense, but the guy just hasn't proven literally almost anywhere that he can hit. It's really like he had a hot second half into an Arizona Fall League where he showed he could hit, and that's been about it, which that's not enough for me. He's been in the major leagues. Last year was, like I said, awful. Very, very short sample size. Obviously, these past 2 games. Last night, he looked very bad at the plate. So the thing about Cole Tucker, I'm not convinced this guy's a major leaguer yet. I know Kevin Newman is. All right. I think what he did last year was a little bit more than a lot of people expected. I don't think he's going to live up to that. But I think the floor is he's definitely a major leaguer. I mean, he'll be a utility player, if anything, right? He's going to be in the majors. Cole Tucker, I don't know about. I don't know if his defense is enough to sustain being a major leaguer. So this is why I'm on board with what the Pirates are doing and keeping Cole Tucker, not keeping, I should say, but moving him around, getting him reps in outfield. Because if he's not going to be an everyday shortstop because his bat's terrible, how are you going to find a way on a team? I mean, Sean Rodriguez was not great offensively. How did he find his way on teams? The versatility. He played every single position, and he played it defensively very well. Again, before then, J-Hay, until J-Hay found, offense in his back pocket, and he became an everyday player. But, guys like that can find a role by being able to play every position and playing every position well. Cole Tucker is a very gifted defender at short. If we can find out he's a very gifted defender in the outfield as well, possibly on second base, third, first, wherever, that's where we can find a niche on this club. And to me, until we find out that he is a major league player, I'm all on board on using Adam Frazier, all on board on using Cole Tucker in this role. Let him find every position. Let him go ahead and experience this, because to me, I feel like Cole Tucker is more of a utility player right now than Kevin Newman is. And Kevin Newman could end up being that in the future. And that's only because you hit on Peguera, you hit on Gonzalez, you hit on Bay, and that's how Kevin Newman slides out there. But until that happens, to me, Kevin Newman has earned a middle infield spot. Adam Frazier's earned that spot. Cole Tucker has not earned anything. So if you want to earn a spot on this club, earn it by playing great defense anywhere we need you. Because also on top of that, there's not too many guys on this team that can play great defense. To quote Hammer and Hank, which he's probably not watching right now, but to quote him, because he said something last night that really hit me, the Pirates have a lot of players. Pirates have a lot of players that can play a lot of positions. It'd be nice if they could find one that can play one very, very well. And it's like, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And Cole Tucker can, but the problem is he can't hit enough to stay there. So I'm all on board about Cole Tucker playing all across the diamond, finding a niche, because to me, unfortunately, his niche is going to be Sean Rodriguez. And hopefully he can play those defensive positions better, because he's a more gifted player. He's a more gifted athlete than Sean Rodriguez was. But if he can't hit, you're not making this club. So you better find it some other way. Guys, with that said, we're going to wrap this up. I started a little bit late. Obviously, the season hasn't started yet either, so it's a little bit of a shorter show. Like I said, we're probably going to keep them around 30 minutes. But yeah, so with that said, we will be back tomorrow with Jim. Jim and I will be on Starbucks, 7 a.m., hopefully sharp. But check us out. That show is definitely going to be more Pirates-based in itself. This show is going to be skewered more towards MLB. And again, like a focus on the NL Central. But we'll be back tomorrow for sure. We'll see you then. Until then, bye-bye.